It is often called a simpler time, a more innocent time, a safer time. In hindsight, it was a perfect time for anyone itching to take advantage of trust. The year 1964.
At that time, Tucson was a bedroom community.
Pima County Sheriff, then Tucson police officer Clarence Dupnick.
Everybody had slept with their doors unlocked and the windows open and so forth. But things were starting to change dramatically.
The trend was an emerging one among American cities, one of teens migrating from good, wholesome, PG fun toward a more R-rated scene of drinking, drugs, and sex. Locally, this corrosive culture had a king of sorts.
Thing to the ladies and whatever.
Schmid reveled in standing out. In high school, he was a star gymnast. After graduating, he turned his attention to his looks.
He had pancake makeup on. He kept a painted mole on his face.
Seeing the town in his big, flashy car.
Had a fake bridge on his nose where he said it was broken. It wasn't, but it looked good.
Then Pima County prosecutor William Schaefer.
The kids, I guess, were excited about that they had a real...
Smitty, as he would later come to be known, was the heartbeat of that culture. And if he was the heart, then the central nervous system was a series of teen hangouts along Speedway Boulevard. After countless nights, countless parties, Schmid was looking for a new high.
I've never heard a good explanation of why people grow up to be psychopaths, except they're born that way.
Do you think he was born that way?
I don't know.
It was May 31st, 1964, when Schmid decided to fulfill a long-time desire to see what it would feel like to kill. That night, with the help of friend John Saunders and girlfriend Mary French, Schmid lured in his victim of choice, 16-year-old Aline Rao. Smitty drove the foursome into a remote patch of desert where he and Saunders led Rao deep into a wash. Mary French waited in the car. They tied her up, took turns raping her. Then, after Saunders went back to the car, Smitty picked up a rock and brutally beat the teenage girl to death. Afterward, reports show Schmid, Saunders, and French buried Aline's bloody body in a shallow grave in the desert. And since Schmid had scratched his sinister itch, they moved on, or so they thought. It was July 1964, 2 months after Charles Schmid's murderous maiden voyage, when he met a blonde, thin beauty, 16-year-old Gretchen Fritz. Gretchen and Schmid dated for roughly a year. Months in, reports show, they began to argue. In between two such fights, Schmid's trust got the best of him. He confided in Gretchen his murderous secret, a move that would soon prove fatal. It was August 16th, 1965, nearly a year and a half since Aline's murder, when Schmid, inside his home, strangled Gretchen Fritz and her 13-year-old sister, Wendy. The reason? Gretchen, one of his best friends, became nervous hundreds of miles away.
Richie Bruns got probation and was sent to Ohio, so he was so jittery, he called his father and told him all about what he knew about Schmid and the deaths. And the police brought him back right away.
And with that, Schmid's murderous dark cloud turned into a white-hot spotlight over the city of Tucson. National media pounced, including Playboy and Life magazine, all to see the man, the murderer, with a personality bigger than life. Again, then Pima County prosecutor William Schaefer.
Oh, the publicity makes it intense. When you come home at night and you hear, and there were a number of rumors that had no basis in fact whatsoever.
The trial lasted 5 months. Schmid never took the stand. On August 16, 1966, a jury found Charles Schmid guilty of murdering Gretchen and Wendy Fritz. He later pleaded guilty to murdering Aline Rao. Schmid was sentenced to death and sent to Arizona State Prison in Florence to 2 fellow inmates who stabbed him 47 times. Reportedly, his mother chose to bury him here in the prison cemetery, thinking that if she buried him on a public site, his tombstone would be vandalized. The murderous plight of the Pied Piper brought to a sudden, violent, and for some, puzzling end.
It would be nice if I could say that we learned a lot which would help us in the future, spotting guys like Schmid. But if he hasn't committed any crimes, you can't arrest him. You can't follow him. Not enough money and time to do that. And you can't put him away. I guess you just have to learn how to handle it once it's there.